Do you know about the 3 types of Geminis, and which are you? The Gemini decans are 10-degree sections of Gemini that represent a little more flavor in the face of your Gemini placement. Today we're going to be talking about all 3. First 10 degrees is a Jupiter and Mercury decan. Pecatrix described it as a beautiful woman and a mistress of sewing, the art of the scribe, giving and receiving, and of the sciences. Angela similarly described it as the face of writing, giving, and receiving money. As you can see, due to the mercurial tie, this is a very crafty decan. It speaks of sewing, writing, and even the sciences. People who are artists, creators, writers, fashion designers will often have placements within this decan. They are truly artists and creators of all types. It is the thirst for knowledge and to learn new hobbies. It is choosing to eat the apple of wisdom no matter the cost in order to learn these new things and expand. It is the abundance of the growth and intelligence and changeability of Gemini. When badly placed or with malefics, this can be to one's detriment. Jupiter is in detriment here, but Mercury is happy. So there are two sides, the side of learning and of being the smartest person in the room, and the side of others not understanding you when you're the smartest person, the side of being so locked in that you forget about other things. Intellect and wisdom meet here, but curiosity, as cliche it is, you kill the cat. These are jacks of all trades and endless fountains of information. They consume and seek great information, and they may be great at sewing, metaphorically or physically. They can weave stories together. They can use their hands to create something, or to create less, to deconstruct. This decan reminds me of the handmade quilts that my family made growing up. They contained stories, fabrics that my aunts and grandmothers collected throughout the years, sewed together into something to keep us warm. That Jupiter generosity and warmth. It was more than just a quilt, it was a family tie and connection. It was something to help us through hardship. The next 10 degrees, between 10 to 19, is the Mars and Venus decan. Pecatrix described this as a man with an eagle face, and his face is full of burden. Angelus also described the burden, the pressure, and the labor. Bruno described it as a man cultivating and digging in the ground, and beside him a piper who is naked, flailing about performing gymnastics. So there's the Martian side of the labor of the hardship, and there's the Venus side of being naked, showing it all, and having fun. And these two meet together in the middle, and sometimes with that Gemini duality of both. The Martian decan is very apparent. The pressure, the burden, the dishonesty, and the labor and hard work. Where does Venus come into play? You will notice the duality when you look at Bruno's description. One man working, one man playing. It is the decan of the war versus love, and the battle that it takes to accept yourself and all that you are and all of your duality. It is not always easy to accept the harsh sides of yourself, and to accept that the good can exist at the very same time. It is the struggle on the way there, often depicted as the 9 of Swords, as overthinking about who you are and what you are to the point that it feels like anxiety. And still, the goal is fulfilling and accepting all of yourself on a mental level. This is the decan of Hecate. It reminds me of liminal spaces, the spaces between reality and something deeper. One night at a comedy club, I experienced a traumatic experience, the kind that happen a lot in America. It was weird because I was in this space where I was trapped. I was not allowed to leave. It was unsafe. We were hiding under tables. You probably know what I'm talking about now. We were there until 5 in the morning. That's the Martian side of it. The Jupiter side of it is that a group of us connected and bonded over this experience. We exchanged numbers at the end of the night, bonded over the fear of everything we had gone through. We helped joke and see a lighter side in an area that was very dark. Duality can lead to division or togetherness, and sometimes it changes moment by moment. This is a decan that tends to live outside of the binary, even the gender binary, and there is beauty within this duality. The last 10 degrees is a Sun and Saturn decan. Every Gemini decan is a decan of duality. Angelus described this as the face of oblivion and disdain, but also mirth and jolliness. Agrippa described it as a man seeking for arms, seeking protection, but also forgetfulness, wrath, boldness, and jests. So you can see where there's the harsh side, the jests, but also the side of joy and laughter and jokes. When we reach the end, the duality becomes more serious, and it's time to finally make a decision so we can move on to what comes next. Within this, there's that feeling of oblivion, that there's something bigger than you involved in all of this, but that you find joy within this ending as well. Not necessarily a happy ending, but the ending that you've needed. The ending where you finally get to be everything that you are without any indecisiveness. It's realizing the gravity of the situation. When to be serious, when to lighten the mood. Does someone need you to listen up, or do they need you to be a helping ear? It's learning to use your duality in order to shapeshift into what's helpful in the moment. Because mercurial energy, like Gemini, is always about being helpful, being the messenger for people around you. It is the lesson that hardship and maturity make us smarter, but we also need to slow down and heal the wounds that got us there. It is the lesson of understanding others through hardship and understanding others' duality rather than simply our own. It is managing to be optimistic after great hardship, going through the dark and being your own light as well as the light for others. Still, there is a harsh ending and harsh decision, as this is the Ten of Swords decan. You have to choose to end it, or it will end itself. But there's more success and joy knowing that you did it, so don't be afraid to be decisive, to be who you are, and to take the action to the next part of your journey. This final decan represents someone who is mature but playful at the same time, knows when to be serious and knows when to crack a joke, who can really read a room. And that is the story of the Gemini.